Hello friends, it's time to slow down, reset, and realign. This is your Friday Hybrid Productivity Reset. If you're new here, welcome to Hellenistique, where we blend mindset, motivation, and hybrid productivity to help you live intentionally, one small step at a time. Since Q4's theme is gratitude and vision, let's talk about goal planning. An important part of my reset process is checking in with my quarterly and yearly goals, reviewing how I aligned, I kept the weeks flowing. Sometimes I see misalignment though, because I spend most of my time on housekeeping, family stuff, and unexpected things that pop up throughout the week. So to help you understand, I thought it'd be the most perfect time to share my simple, effective goal planning process. One that connects yearly vision to quarterly goals, monthly priorities, weekly tasks, and then daily execution. You can take a few things home and use them during the next goal planning process. With 2026 just around the corner, I hope this really helps. I broke this up into sections. First, we're going to talk about the goal planning process, and then we're going to go into my Notion, and I'm actually going to show you a demonstration of how this all works. All right, let's get to it. I plan my goals quarterly using my version of the 12-week year. A great book, by the way, that I recommend. If yearly goal planning hasn't been working for you, this is the one that you want to read. On a yearly level, I create a vision board with visuals of how I want my life to look like in the future, in the near future. It might not be like this year, it might not be next year, it might be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, but that's what I'm looking at. Let's pause here for a moment to talk about the vision board. So for me, I do a new vision board every couple of years, and it doesn't really change much because, like I said, I'm looking at the near future, not necessarily this year. Where do you live? What color is your house? What do you look like? Who are you talking with? What do you do to generate income? What's your demeanor? Are you confident? Are you shy? Do you travel? Who's traveling with you? How many hours do you work each day, or how many days do you work? Are you a business owner, or do you work for someone? What do you do during your off work hours of the day? You get the point. It's like a navigation system in your car or on your phone. If you don't plug in your destination point, all you can do is drive endlessly, only to find yourself at a gas station to fill up again. So you could go right back to driving. But on a quarterly level, this is where the magic happens. Let's cover the benefits of quarterly goal planning. It's just long enough for impact and short enough for laser focus. One quarter consists of 3 months out of the year. 3 months consist of just about 90 days. If you look at it that way, it's just enough time to do some positive damage to leap you forward toward the vision goal we talked about earlier. It gives you both momentum and focus, knowing that you're essentially counting down 90 days. Only 90 days. On the contrary, you know your next great reset is only 90 days away. With that said, many times when I feel overwhelmed with some of the goals I set out for myself, because there can be multiple layers of uncomfortable tasks. Well, after these 90 short days, I know I am due for a reset. So I suck it up and just get it done. Get to work. I don't know about you, but I want to go into my reset feeling like $1,000,000 and not feeling like I chickened out of a 90-day upgrade to my life. For me, I walk into my new quarter looking forward to how much closer I'll be after these 90 days or 3 months of my life. If you think about it though, whether you set big or small goals for yourself or not, the time train is gonna go. I cannot tell you how many days, months, or even years went by without me staying intentional for my vision. Sure, I'm always busy. I have 4 kids, a husband, 3 dogs, and multiple businesses. Of course, I'm always busy. But while staying busy in different seasons of my life is typical, being busy on purpose with intentionality, that's a whole different kind of busy. I consider it productive. I'm sure the dictionary will say something otherwise, but my definition of productivity is momentum, moving the needle forward, an upgrade in my life. Whereas when I say busy, it usually means I was just busy. Rather than a step forward toward my vision, I was just busy with life. There's definitely a difference there. So if you're going through year to year without seeing amazing changes or upgrades in your life, this one's for you. Now that we've covered the why, let's jump into the Notion template to see how it actually works. All right, so we are here in the Quarterly Reset Club. This is a template that I created based off of what I normally use, which is my life planner. This is my actual planner, and this is what I'm looking at every single day. See my vision board on the top, and then it has all my projects for self-development, personal work. I also have a planner right here. So let's go back to the Quarterly Reset Club template that I've created. And this is going to be sold in my shop very shortly here. I just wanted to quickly take you through and do a quick tour how this all works together. I have my vision board right here on to the left. It is such a good thing to do every single day, be able to see your vision board and know exactly what you're aiming for, why you're doing the things that you're doing today, and making sure when you're making those decisions to spend your time wisely, I guess, throughout the day, and not just staying busy, but to really purposely, intentionally stay together throughout the day. So once I do that, I have a quick actions buttons onto the left here, and then the yearly goals and quarterly goals. So this is just a real quick checkoff list. Now, I used to have all my yearly goals linked to the quarterly goals, linked to the database that holds all my projects and then to my tasks. But I eliminated all that because it just made me busier and it was too complicated. What I need is a very simple capture and execute type of reset every week, every quarter, every year. And so I decided to move it forward this way. So how this looks is I have 3 self-development yearly goals for myself. That of course aligns with this vision board. And then I ask myself in the beginning of the year or at the end of the year for the new year, how can I become unrecognizable? So in other words, this is where I consider all the things that I hate about myself. Hate is a very strong word, but it is essentially a place where I ask myself, what are the top 3 things that you want to change and become unrecognizable in the new year? And that is how I would fill this up. And I would just literally write like, I speak Japanese. So I am already thinking in terms of this already happened, right? So I'm not writing like, I want to learn Japanese, but it's like, I speak Japanese. Why? Because in Atomic Habits, this is a book that everybody talks about. I've read this multiple times, and it's talking about instead of creating goals, create systems. Well, I do believe you need to have a destination of where you need to be. Like I speak Japanese at the end of the year, for instance, but then I'm creating a system around that. So how can I be that person who speaks Japanese? What systems do I need to put in place? What marginal adjustments do I need to make throughout the year to make that happen? And so that's what I'm looking at. And then I would then work it into my projects, into my tasks as I go throughout each quarter. So that's how that works. I've got one for career goals. So I set out for 3 big things for the year, what I've already accomplished. So that's the mindset that I have with that. And then as well as personal. So this is anything family related, my personal, it could be my home related, that kind of thing. I'm saving 30% of my income. If I am that person who saves 30% of my income, what does my income look like? What does my expenses look like? How can I create that kind of a system to make that happen? So that's what I would be doing throughout the quarters and throughout the year. And then quarterly goals, same thing. To align with my yearly goals and then ultimately my vision, what do I need to get done this quarter, right? So that's what I'm looking at. So I said, one of the things, let's say I speak Japanese at the end of the year, then well, this quarter, what do I need to do? I need to start Japanese lessons. I need to work that into my system. I have to figure out time where I can squeeze those lessons in. That is what I do in a quarterly level. So these are my move the needle types of goals and tasks that I am looking at. It all folds like that. It's a toggle. So it's wonderful if I don't need to be looking at it on a daily basis, but on a quarterly basis, yearly basis, or on those days where I'm very, very overwhelmed and I'm feeling like, why am I doing all this? I go down the line. I look at the vision board, I look at my yearly goals, and then I look at my quarterly goals. I come right back to it and say, okay, Helen, this is why you do the things that you do every single day to move the needle. And then here are all the other things. So some of these projects align with my quarterly goals and yearly goals, and some of them may not, because in life, things come up. Let's say my son is switching schools. Well, there's a lot of work to get done with switching a child from one school to another school. So that is something that I would call a project as versus a task. I put move my son into XYZ school as a project. So I would create that project And then in there, I would have all the tasks associated to completing that project of moving him into a different school. And all my tasks will go in here as per that project planning. So for instance, let's just say this is the one. Move my son to a different school, right? Then I would have all the tasks associated with doing that. So what do I need to do? This is where I brainstorm. I go, okay, get his transcript from previous school. I would have to get vaccine records, apply to the new school, and fill out all documents, so on and so forth. You get the point? So each of these now become a task. So then I would move it into here and it becomes a task associated with that project. So here, move my son, and now it's linked. Let's say I got this done and I gave myself a due date of tomorrow. Get his transcript. This is my task date and this is my absolute due date. Put it into personal. This is low energy task. It's nothing extensive. If I got started, I would put it into progress. If I finished, I would put it into done. Now there's 100%. Why? Because there's only one task associated to that project and it's done. As I am planning out this project, I take all of these, right? All of these tasks that I assigned to myself and put it into each of its own task. So now let's look at how that looks like. So if I were to put all of these tasks, you'll see the difference in the status percentage. So I'm going to put my son into school. I'm gonna link it to this project, all three of those. And now I've got 4 tasks to that one project and I got one thing done, get the transcript. So now I'm at 25%. Do you see 25% instead of 100%? So it really helps me to capture where I'm at as versus when I am looking at completing this project. I have a duration date here. If you look at mine, I'm still building out that template, but if you look here, I have the quarter. I'm towards the 3rd, 4th week of October, month 1 of the quarter. I need to get going, right? That's what I am telling myself. So I have that duration, and then here are all the things that I need to do. So let's say I finished one of them. Okay, so now I'm at 50%. Let's say I finished another one. I'm at 75%. If I finish the last one, then I'm done. And I would just look in here and go, okay, my son is now in school. And I would close this out. So that's what happens there. And I no longer need to pay attention to that project. So that's how it's all linked together. And that's how I am able to align my yearly goals to my quarterly goals as I'm planning out the quarters. And I look at these 3 top self-developmental goals and I would create projects for it. For instance, maybe I need to start a new habit, studying Japanese, squeeze that in somewhere. And so when you look at it as a big picture, you're looking at your overall vision board of how you want your life to look like in the near future. On a yearly level, assigning some goals for yourself with that vision board in mind. And then you're now going into each quarter giving yourself the absolute must things to accomplish during the quarter to align with that yearly goal that gets you pushed towards accomplishing your ultimate vision life. So that's how that works. Then I have the notebook, and I'm going to have another database here just as I have it in my actual planner. So I have all my business meetings here, waiting on things, notebook just to capture quick thoughts, links, that kind of thing. Here's actually a link file. Here's restaurants that we visited. I'm not really good about this, but this is more of my commonplace, I guess. The books that I read, I will be putting it in here. All the books that I've read in the previous, I don't think I'm gonna go back and do it, but maybe once I have time. So here's everything to reference, and it's grouped by what it is. It could be thoughts, reference, books, links, orders. So I call it my notebook, but it's really like a commonplace. Links there, and then some goals. This is more like this vision board spelled out. But all I really need is this vision board, and I know, because I put it together, right? So I know exactly what I want my life to look like. All right, so that is a quick tour of my Notion and how this works, how I get my goals each year, each quarter, moving forward towards my vision. I just hope that this really helped.